and welcome to Story Stash. I'm your host, Duncan, and these are some of my stories I've written. Today, I'm reading from my book Star Guardian 2, and this is Chapter 9. Be sure to subscribe to get the latest updates. Now, let's get started. Chapter 9, A Drink and a Walk. I took a taxi at the front of the hotel, and it did not take too long to get to the destination. For payment, the driver scanned my ID chip. I still had an account with Ori Funds. Gauns was frequented by military and security personnel. Quite a few of them were in uniforms. I felt out of place wearing casual clothing. Several beings looked at me as I walked in. They were all taller than me, which added to my discomfort. I worked my way through the crowds to find Commander Quan. He was at a table near the back, sitting with a female Ori. "Commander Brian," he called out. Several other beings turned their heads to see who was calling out and whom he was calling to. I approached the table. Quan clasped my forearm as a greeting. He waved at me to take a seat. "What are you drinking?" I asked. "It's a local brew. Would you like some?" he asked. He waved over a server to order me a drink. The server looked at me and pulled out a scanner to check my ID chip. Satisfied that I would not die, she left to fetch my drink. Quan looked at me. "Brian, this is my sister Mina. She is Yarin's widow. I hope you don't mind. I invited her. Mina, this is Brian. He served on the Apollunar with Yarin. He escaped the pirate attack and was rescued by a Baglaji vessel. He joined their crew, and they destroyed the pirates, who destroyed the freighter. Mina, I'm sorry for your loss. Yarin was a good man who did not deserve to die like that," I said. Mina looked me in the eye, as if looking for something. "Thank you. It means a lot to hear from you. You serve with Yarin?" she asked. "Yes, I joined the freighter at Tien Prime, and we had traveled for only a brief while. Captain Jego assigned me various duties to get me familiar with life aboard. Some of that time I reported to Yarin in engineering. I was new to the work, but he was kind to me," I said. "That sounds like him, all right. So how did you escape the pirate attack?" "I hid in an escape pod, together with another crewmate, Kaluna. When the freighter exploded, we were jettisoned into space. The pirates did not seem to care about us. Perhaps it was because we were in deep space between systems. There was little chance of rescue," I said. About this time my drink arrived. I took a sip. I had little experience with alcohol, and this tasted too strange for me to make a habit of drinking it. I kept a neutral face so as not to offend. I raised my drink and looked at them both across the table. To Yarin. They both raised their drinks. Quan said, "Yarin." We drank. I took a decent amount and was about to put down the glass, but they kept drinking. I realized the custom was to finish the drink, so I did the same and finished it. I put the empty glass down on the table. I looked at them for a clue as to what to do next. Quan waved at a server and gestured for more of the same. Meanwhile, Mina had more questions. "Brian, how did you destroy the pirates?" she asked. "We were rescued from the escape pod by a Baglaji Star cruiser. It is a military vessel with some advanced weapons. After joining their crew, we dealt with the pirates. I got to play a role in their destruction. I cannot go into more detail how. I can confirm all the vessels that took part in the attack were destroyed." "Impressive," said Quan. I smiled. If the Ori knew how devastating our technology was, we might be considered a threat. More drinks arrived, and we each took a drink. This time, they did not finish it in one go. I was glad. I was worried it would leave me lightheaded. Quan jumped in. This time Brian came back. He has captured the leader of the pirates that ordered the attack on the Apollinaire. Mina looked at me. You have done much to avenge my late husband's death. In Ori custom, that makes you family. Whenever you visit, our home is your home. And that goes the same for me, added Quan. My extended family was growing. I wondered what would happen after I did an interview for the minister. Would all the relatives of the deceased crew want to add me to their families? I was not sure I wanted that. We talked and drank for a while until Mina said she had to go home. We escorted her outside to a taxi and watched her depart. You did a good thing for her tonight. I can tell she will be better for it, said Quan. I'm glad to make a positive difference. Look, I think I have had enough to drink, I said. I understand. It is good to know your limit, especially with alcohol. Would you like to take a walk in the night air? The waterfront is just about a block this way, and the view is nice this time of night, he offered. Sure, let's do that, I said. I had seen little of this planet so far. We walked down to the waterfront. There was a nice walkway along the bank of a large river that ran through the town. Their sun had already set, and there were numerous artificial lights along the walkway. The lighting from the town drowned out all but the brightest stars in the night sky. We walked along quietly, side by side, enjoying a slight breeze. It was so peaceful here. We were now family. Did that make Quan my brother? I'd never had a brother before. It was fairly quiet at this time of night. So few other beings were out for a stroll. Suddenly a vehicle rushed up and stopped beside us. The door opened, and beings in dark clothing jumped out, pointing weapons at us. Quan drew his weapon and fired at them, but they returned fire, and he dropped to the ground. It happened so quickly. I was unarmed, and without my away team uniform, there was nothing I could do. Before I knew it, I was shot with something, and the lights went out. The communications device rang. It woke up Jem. She looked at the display. It showed an incoming call request from Minister Taran. Hello, this is Captain Jem, said Jem. I'm afraid that there's been an incident, Captain. Do you know where Commander Brian is? Said the minister. He was out meeting with Commander Quan, said Jem. They were attacked this evening. Commander Quan's body was found floating in the river. Commander Brian is missing, presumed abducted, said the minister. Oh no, screamed Jem. That got Kaluna and Lane up, rushing into the room. What's going on? Asked Kaluna. Brian is gone, said Jem. She was crying now. Kaluna picked up the communications device. Jem is too upset to talk. Please call back when you have an update. If we get anything, we will call you back. And then she ended the call. Lane was holding Jem, who was too disturbed to talk. Kaluna went back to the room she had slept in. She grabbed her wrist communicator. Ship, this is Kaluna. Please respond, said Kaluna. Confirmed, said Ship. Ship, Brian has been abducted by hostile forces unknown. Jem is too upset to respond. I want you to locate Brian, and when you do, contact me. If you cannot reach me, pass the location to Ori Security Services, said Kaluna. Confirmed. Orders understood. Out, replied Ship. Kaluna put the communicator on her wrist. It would stay there until Brian was found. I woke up feeling like crap. My head hurt. I could see nothing. I could feel a twitching in my arm. I guess that was what woke me up. I just wanted to go back to sleep. It would all be okay later. The twitching would stop. Eventually I began to get my wits back. I realized that Ship was pinging me. I flexed my fingers and thumb of the right hand. Good. I tapped my finger and thumb 5 times. The twitching stopped. Message received. Ship will have my location. I found out that my arms were restrained behind whatever chair I was on. I still could not see. Probably there was a blindfold or something. I tried to listen for clues. Nothing. I concluded that I was in some kind of cell. In case I was being watched, I kept my head hanging to one side like I was unconscious. If all went well, Ship would contact the authorities and they would rescue me. The problem would be if they kill me before then. If I knew that was coming, I would have to stall them. Unfortunately, I did not know who or where they were. I did not want to call out and let them know I was awake. I could provoke them, and I would lose the element of surprise. This sucked. I was used to doing things to be the one getting out of trouble. Here I could do nothing but wait. It was several hours after the call from Minister Taran. Lane and Jem were seated together on the sofa. Kaluna got a call on her wrist communicator. Kaluna, this is Ship. I have a location on Brian, said Ship. Ship, contact Minister Taran on a 3-way call with me. Be ready to pass on the location information, Kaluna said. Confirmed. Connecting. Connected, said Ship. Minister Taran, this is Kaluna. I have information on the location of Commander Brian, said Kaluna. Kaluna, that is great news. Where is he? Asked the minister. Transmitting coordinates to your communications device now, said Ship. Received. Thank you. I must make a call immediately. With that, the minister ended the call. Thank you, Ship. Can you monitor their communications without being found out? I want to be sure they are moving to rescue him. Keep me updated, said Kaluna. Confirmed. I will do what needs be done, replied Ship. The call ended. I had been sitting still, feigning unconsciousness, for at least an hour. I felt another twitching in my arm. It was possibly Ship checking to see if I was on the move or something. I tapped my finger and thumb 5 times. My captors had not come back to check on me at all. I guess there was no way for me to escape my restraints. At least that bought me time for the rescue attempt to find me. Suddenly I heard shouting and the sound of weapons fire. It was muffled, like in another room. I waited. I heard the door burst open. I remained motionless. I found him in here, someone yelled. I doubted it was my captors. They knew where they put me. A moment later, the cover was removed from my eyes by security forces being in full body armor. They made short work of removing my restraints. I groaned as my arms and legs were freed up. Thank you, I said. No problem. We'll have you out of here soon. Can you walk? Asked the being. I may need your help until I get the stiffness out of my legs. Lean on me. She put her arm around me and helped me stand. We left the room of my confinement. In an adjacent room there were the bodies of several of my captors. Other security forces beings were checking over the bodies and other rooms. I noticed several of them were laggade. Did you take any alive? I asked. We have 2 in custody. They will be taken for questioning, said the being. My name is Brian. Can I know your name? I asked. I'm called Meris. Let's get you out of here and over to the medical facility, said Meris. I continued through and out of the room. It was somewhere underground, in a complex in some warehouse district in the city. It was a good place to hide me, just not good enough. Within an hour, Kaluna got a call on her wrist communicator. Kaluna, this is Ship. I have been monitoring the communications as requested. They have located Brian, and he is alive. They are taking him to the medical facility. I expect they will contact you in due course, but if you leave soon, you could meet them at the medical facility, said Ship. Thank you, Ship. We'll leave soon, said Kaluna. Acknowledged. Out, said Ship. Kaluna went out in the main lounge of the suite where Jem and Lane were. He is alive. They rescued him. Please get ready. We will see him at the medical facility, said Kaluna. Jem looked up at Kaluna. We need to look our best for him. We can't fall apart just because of this. He will need to see us as strong. Lane, please go with Jem, and both of you get ready, said Kaluna. The communications device rang. Kaluna answered the call from the minister. Hello, Minister. Yes, we just heard that he is alive and rescued, said Kaluna. You know already? Asked the minister. Oops, she should not have let on they were monitoring the Ori Secure Network communications. We were informed just recently. We are going to the medical facility to meet with him. Kaluna replied vaguely. It seemed to pacify him. Good. Then I better let you go. I will meet you all there, replied the minister. When I arrived at the medical facility, they put me in a wheelchair and I was quickly transported to a medical scanning device. I did not feel too bad, just some bruising and soreness from the restraints. I had 2 security forces beings, including Merus, in full body armor standing guard over me. A medic checked my ID chip and then looked troubled. Our system does not have details of your physiology on file. Ah, yes. I am of a race known as human. I can get you the details. Merus, I need your help. Please use your communicator and arrange a relay communication up to the Baglaji vessel in orbit above the planet, I said. Merus took out a communications device and called their central headquarters. Somehow they patched in a call. She passed her device to me. Ship, this is Brian. Confirm my voice print identity, I said. Confirmed. I can also see you, replied Ship. A display on the wall showed video footage from the security camera in the room. Now that was showing off. Please interface with their scanner here and provide details of my physiology so they can confirm my health and or make correct treatment, I said. Confirmed. Transferring. Complete, said Ship. I ended the call and gave the device back to Merus. Okay, scan me again, I said. The medic looked dumbfounded. They scanned my ID chip and this time it continued to scan me for health. It says you have suffered some bruises and you should expect a complete recovery in a few days, said the medic. Thank you, I said. I turned to Merus. Merus, when I was abducted, I was with Commander Quan. Do you have a status on him? I asked. She looked at the other security forces and then looked back at me. He was found dead, floating in the river last night. That angered me, but as a Tian, I kept that under control. He was my friend. More than that, he had just declared we were family, I said. Both security forces and the medic looked at me surprised. What I had said meant something to them. Suddenly the doors opened and in rushed Jem, followed by Kaluna and Lane. The security forces stiffened, ready to do something, until they realized they were friendly. Minister Taran came in behind them. My 2 guards stiffened and saluted the minister. Well, Brian, you have given us quite a scare last night, said the minister. It was not intentional. I met with Commander Quan at Gorns to honor his dead brother-in-law. I also met with his sister, Mina, who is the widow of Yaren. Both Quan and Mina declared me to be family, I said. The minister raised his eyebrows. Kaluna looked at me strangely. That is a significant gesture in our culture, not one taken lightly, said the minister. I take it as it was intended, I assure you. These bastards who did this, were they connected to Tobis? I asked. It is too early to say. The captured abductors are to be questioned, said the minister. When I saw the bodies of the dead abductors, I noticed most of them are Lagaid. Tobis and most of his crew are also Lagaid, I said. I agree. That suggests a connection, said the minister. I suggest that as soon as your security forces take the pirate vessel off our hands and the crew into custody, that you show images of the abductors to the more willing crew. They may provide answers for us, I offered. I will pass that on to Chief Investigator Yuss. If there is a connection, he will want to combine the investigations, the minister replied. Thank you. We can hand over the pirate vessel as soon as your security forces are ready. I'm keen to sort this out. There are still some pirate vessels out there loyal to Tobis, and once we are concluded here, I intend to go after them, I said. Well, that was the end of Chapter 9, and next episode we'll have Chapter 10, Gorn. So, until then, hope to see you then. Bye!